The putting greens at Tavistock Country Club. They are, in a word, sacred. This video will explore some of the tactics we use and challenges we face in our endless pursuit of green speed for the golfing members at Tavistock. The original brilliance of Alexander Findlay and the ensuing efforts to recapture that brilliance by Robert Trent Jones and later on Force Design have entertained and occasionally frustrated the club's golfers for nearly a century. One constant throughout all these eras of the club's history is the duty of the green superintendent to provide consistent putting green speeds from green to green, day to day, in variable growing conditions from March through November. On Sunday morning, for special events, even Tuesday afternoons. Despite all the factors affecting green speed, an experienced superintendent can examine his putting greens before the morning dew has been disturbed and know whether they have optimum speed or what they might need to achieve it. Still, the USGA stimp meter is the best way to verify and quantify green speed so that he can adjust as necessary.
This is the stimp meter as provided by the United States Golf Association. It should be the tool that is manufactured by and sold by the USGA to ensure standard. The intended purpose, as stated in their handbook for stimp meter use, is for me, the golf course superintendent, to measure the uniformity of green speed from green to green. It's also stated that it is not intended for course comparisons. However, that's what it has evolved into.
Competition among clubs is an unhealthy byproduct of green speeds, as technologies so too have evolved, and green speeds in the past 30 years have increased dramatically.
In 1977, the USGA measured approximately 1,500 greens in about 36 states, and the average green speed at that time was 6 feet 6 inches. Today, our average green speeds here at Tavistock are and have been from April to date, which is we're now in early August. Our average green speed has been between 10 and 11 feet. In 1977, when that average green speed was approximately 6 feet 6 inches, the average height of cut was about 3/16 of an inch. Currently, we're mowing at 110 thousandths of an inch, or just over 1/10 of an inch, which is dramatically different.
Height of cut and precision of cut are critical to good green speed and require constant adjustment, maintenance, and sharpening. Tavistock's 18-inch hybrid mowers are equipped with groomers, or verticutters, that gently stand lateral growth up before it is mowed, providing a cleaner, more precise cut. The club's skilled staff members are well versed in the nuances of mowing a putting green and are mindful of proper overlap and minimizing traffic on surrounding collars and green banks. Although we can control the height of cut, there are more nefarious forces at work that affect green speed, over which we have little or no control at all.
This past year, after the hottest July ever and the wettest August ever, the green maintenance staff became very adept at acting and reacting to extreme weather conditions, be it searing heat or hurricanes and tropical storms and thunderstorms in rapid succession. We were able to utilize any window of opportunity to mow and roll the greens. And we have to, when weather gets that extreme, it becomes one of our primary focuses to get green speed to turn around and be where it should be as soon as is humanly possible.
A common misconception among golfers is that in times of extreme heat, the superintendent will raise the height of cut or stop mowing altogether. This isn't true here at Tavistock. Tom is steadfast in tending to the greens each day. If temperatures approach or surpass 100 degrees, we may forego either mowing or rolling, but never both in a given day. To skip mowing for more than 2 days, or raise how to cut, is a poor management practice. Unless, of course, you're forced into it by events like these. If mowing schedules are interrupted for more than 72 hours, too much leaf tissue can develop, and the height of cut may be raised to avoid mechanical injury. After events like these, one key element to a quick recovery is the extensive subsurface drainage systems at each green site. Simply put, they reduce re-entry times and allow us to do our jobs as quickly as possible. Another key element is a dedicated staff, willing to do whatever it takes to get the job done. It isn't just triple-digit heat or double-digit rain that impact green speed. There are other more subtle factors that can also play a role.
When the weather finally stabilizes, things like temperature, humidity, daylight, dew point, length of day can all play a role in green speed. For example, a 78-degree day that's a little bit overcast, perhaps a little bit humid, clouds. The plant is going to be more turgid. It's going to retain whatever moisture it might have from irrigation, rainfall, even the morning dew. The tissue itself will swell and the greens will be slower. Conversely, the same 78-degree day with some sunlight, perhaps a light breeze, very arid out, the plant will transpire the moisture out, leaf tissue will shrink, and green speeds will increase naturally.
A noted playwright and director once quipped, "This I know, the spirit of man cannot be stopped." I believe a strong will is a solid asset for those in the business of growing greens. But fortunately, we can enlist the help of modern chemistries to help us push back against the forces of Mother Nature. In this corner, we have plant nutrition, and in the opposite corner, plant growth regulation, two frequently contrasting forces that can accelerate or stabilize growth. Tavistock's putting greens are on an intensely monitored nutrition program using multiple sources of nitrogen. It is applied at rates as high as a half a pound and as light as 1/10 of a pound of nitrogen per 1,000 square foot. Tavistock relies on two types of PGRs, or plant growth regulators, to help steady the occasional surge in growth rates and maintain the stable ones. One type inhibits vertical growth while encouraging lateral growth. The other slows growth altogether and suppresses poa annua. The savvy superintendent often sprays fertilizer and regulators in tandem, and must time their application while considering climatic conditions, tournament schedules, current green speed, and desired plant vigor.
So we'll push the greens with foliar applications and soil feedings of fertilizer for color and density, and then we'll try to reel that growth back in with growth regulators that may promote lateral growth or healing growth, but certainly not vertical growth. But then we'll grow leery of that lateral growth and stand it up and shave it down. And by then it's probably paled off a little bit, so it's again time for fertilizers and growth regulators. And we'll go through this cycle a dozen times a growing season. I think that if the average golfer knew the roller coaster ride that these putting greens are on, they might think that the people who are growing them are crazy. And they might be right.
Each putting green is a small biotic system, prone to constant change, and as a result, small inconsistencies can develop, affecting roll. At Tavistock, we implement certain cultivational practices and light machinery to help smooth the bumps and improve the conditioning of the greens. It's no accident that they call it creeping bentgrass. Even Tavistock's modern blend of A, G, and Thai grasses are prone to prostrate or lateral growth. To discourage the formation of grain and improve the overall canopy of turf, we will periodically verticut the greens throughout the growing season. We'll often mow directly behind this process, shaving the greens down and removing much unwanted growth. We also lightly top dress the greens as often as possible, particularly on Mondays when the golf course is closed. This helps to fill in minute imperfections and promote the overall smoothness of the putting greens. Each application is gently brushed in with either a cocoa mat or by hand, depending on the weather. To help ensure the purity of the stand of bentgrass, we will hand-pick individual goose and poet plants. We'll also go around and repair all improperly fixed ball marks. Rolling a green is a great way to improve its smoothness and green speed. This year, Tavistock changed its mindset about mowing and rolling and tried something new.
In past years, we used to roll a maximum of 3 times a week in addition to mowing every day. Currently, we've started in 2011 a new program where we roll every day and mow every other day. By doing this, we're creating consistent green speeds from day to day, and by skipping every other day of mowing, we're creating a potentially healthier plant. You can imagine that when we mow at 110 thousandths of an inch, there's very little leaf surface to photosynthesize. By skipping every other day mowing, it's creating a slightly larger or more leaf surface, which will allow more photosynthesis. This creates a healthier plant in theory.
An extensive study performed by the University of Michigan found that this schedule will provide consistent green speeds and improved plant vigor. Thus far, our findings substantiate their research. Unfortunately, sometimes our best efforts will leave us, and quite possibly you, unsatisfied with the speed on our greens. In these cases, we'll institute a slightly more drastic measure.
One of the things that we can do to make an immediate impact on green speed is to come out and mow this surface in the heat of the afternoon when it's nice and dry, and that's why we call it a dry cut. It's going to drop green speed 6 to 12 inches almost immediately, but it's a practice that we only use occasionally because it comes at a cost.
The cost is both agronomic and financial. An afternoon dry cut requires 4 and as many as 5 employees to be done in a reasonable amount of time, as mowing greens with play can be a lengthy process. Mowing the greens on a hot summer day puts a tremendous amount of stress on them and may require as many as 4 additional employees to cool off the greens, ostensibly doubling the interruption to play. 7 to 9 people makes an appreciable dent in our greens maintenance staff and precludes employees from performing other important tasks on the golf course. Perhaps now you better appreciate the lengths to which we'll go to achieve a good green speed. But how far should we go? And what is our target speed here at Tavistock? In determining this, we must defer to the old adage that the key to life is balance. So we must target a green speed that is right for the high handicapper, the elite player, and the green itself. And we can't lose sight of the fact that the bulk of our greens were carved out at a time when greens would probably stimp at just a few feet, and that they were penned by an architect with a great sense of sportsmanship. After taking all of these things into consideration, we've determined that the target green speed for Tavistock Country Club is 10 feet 6 inches. Our green speeds may occasionally fall into the 9s and will most certainly creep well into the 11s, but to make them much faster will create problems for the people who grow them and the people who putt them.
One of the things that's helped us target the green speed here is our severe undulations in our greens. At a lot of golf courses that have relatively flat greens, you need to have a green speed much faster than ours for them to appear fast. As we know, perception is reality. The perception on a flat green would be that the greens are slow. When we have very undulating greens, the perception is that they are a bit faster, even if they are at the same stick meter reading. But also, another pitfall would be that we would minimize our cupping surface on the greens the faster we make them. We need to keep a relatively flat surface around the cupping spot, so we can't cup on the undulations. That would minimize our green cupping space and unfortunately maximize traffic in very few areas on the green. I think it's very important for us to maintain healthy turf while at the same time trying to maximize our green space.
An ancient African proverb proclaims, "It takes a village to raise the child," and nothing truer could be said of our collective chase for green speed.
Each season, at some point, everyone on my staff plays a part in or contributes to green speeds.
Well, almost everyone.
So what can you do to help us in this noble cause, chasing green speed? Two things. The first thing we ask is that you carry one of these. These are available in the golf shop for free. It's much better than a tee because it has 2 tines and gives you a little bit more leverage than you would have with just a golf tee. First, let me show you how not to fix a ball mark. We see these tour pros use this technique all the time. Quite honestly, we cringe when we see it. And this is what a tour pro or an uneducated ball mark fixer will do. You got the old pop-up. Just pop it up. Tap it down. Looks good, but it's not the right technique. You have just sheared the roots, and that will likely be a little dead spot by the end of the day. So here's a nice one. They came in, rained in on the green. Nice little crater there. Here's the proper technique to fix one of these. Yes, that you get behind the ball mark a little bit and try to knead some of that grass into it. Then push a little more towards it. Come to the front side. Another twist or two. Now a nice little tap down with the putter. That ball mark has a much greater survival rate. It's probable that in a couple of days we won't even know that it ever happened. And it only took a few seconds longer than the previous technique. The second thing is to tread lightly.
Keep your emotions in check and never make sudden movements. Never scuff your feet and always take a little extra care in the area right around the cup. A good rule of thumb is to treat the entire green as if it were your partner's line. The chase is never ending, but it's a challenge that we both cherish and embrace. With a little help from you, we can continue a grand tradition of the putting greens at your club, Tavistock Country Club.
Come along with me, down into the world of seeing. Come and you'll be free. Take the time to find the feeling. See everything on its own, and you'll find you know the way, and you'll know the things you're shown. Think of the love that found you, the seed that you plant today. Tomorrow will be a tree.